too, like that other dude.
Welcome to virtual Newton, Iowa, the home of tonight's SGD Summer Series ARCA race here on Speed Racing Network. Your president, Jonathan Byer, with you here this evening to bring you all the action here from Iowa Speedway, just under a mile in length. Started hosting races back in 2006. NASCAR and IndyCar still run events at this track on a yearly basis. Right off I-80. Great little racetrack with a few updates. You'll see in the corners there's a little bit of new pavement available. We'll talk about that throughout the night as well, as that's something these drivers have to encounter now for the first time. 12 to 14 degrees of banking in the turns, 10 degrees on the front stretch. Back stretch is a pretty flat 4 degrees. 90 laps is what we have for you here tonight. Last couple cars are wrapping up qualifying right now. We have quite a story developing for the pole. We'll get to that in just a second. But thank you for joining us for race number 4 on the SGD Summer Series. If you would like more information about the series, would like to join us, anything like that, you can go to speedracingnetwork.com to get that information. So thank you again for joining us tonight, and we are getting the grid right about now. Okay, maybe. And here it is for you. Andrew Harris wins the pole. Dan Park will start alongside second. Look at that margin from first to second. 6 1,000ths of a second was the difference. On back from that, we have a little bit of larger discrepancy between the last lap times. Forrest Hamilton Jr., your Daytona winner, will start third. Jason Green fourth. Josh Fox fifth. Ben Park sixth. See a common theme in the top 6. That's all Park Brothers racing machines. Tejas will start 7th, Sean Corcoran in 8th. Baltazar, a new driver to the series here this evening, has run a couple NASCAR events, will start 9th. Connor Cunningham, the last of the Park Brothers racing drivers, in 10th. Robert Richardson 11th. Joe Ruggles rounds out your top 12. And then we'll let this cycle through the rest of the field this evening. 17 strong is what will start this event. That means our top 3 finishers will get a payout when we conclude this race this evening. Like I said, 90 laps. A couple unique things to always keep in mind here this season. We will have a halfway caution that'll come tonight around or lap 45. That's just a competition caution, so everybody get back in the pits, get some service, and continue on with their race. So something to keep in mind there as well. We'll talk to a couple drivers throughout the night. We'll see how many replays we have. Go from there. That's a quick green flag here. They'll get doubled up. The pace car will dive off rather quickly, and we'll get started. 90 laps from Iowa. Information will be rolling across the bottom of your screen all night. In the comment section, please cheer for your favorites. Let us know what you'd like to see. We can make it happen. Car is going to pace him around one more time here, it looks like. Our great race control staff, that includes Jim Walton, has to make a couple announcements for the drivers to count. Make sure that they know we have that competition caution coming around lap 45. Also let them know that track temp's a little warm here tonight at 107 degrees, so just to be a little careful on the start. Don't try to get too much. You can't win on the first lap, but you can definitely lose on the first lap. So giving all these competitors a little extra line. You see the worn out surface there from the backstretch. That's what the whole track used to be. You see them dark corner sections now. That is part of the repave and the recent update at Iowa Speedway. Pace car will dive to the safety of pit road. Andrew Harris has the field in his hands, and it's green flag. 90 laps of Iowa. Harris quickly to the pits here, wondering if there was some kind of penalty on the start, jumping the start possible. So that'll give Dan Park the lead with Jason Green real quick on his tails, and we have an absolute brawl just behind these guys. The battle's still developing up front between the 7 and 55. They still haven't sorted that out back there. Good battle up front here between teammates in the 7 and 55. The 7 has it, the 55 wants it. There you see Andrew Harris coming off pit road from that penalty. And unfortunately for him, that will be at least one lap down. But I believe he has enough pace to keep that from being a bigger issue. But as he comes off pit road, that stacks up all these guys back here. You have the Byte 500 cars back into the Park Brothers Racing team, all in this little gaggle here around 6th to 8th place. Connor Cunningham takes it off the wall a little bit there out of turn 2. And here's kind of settle in here around 7th or 8th place on the racetrack, but still one lap in arrears, having to serve that penalty at the beginning of the race. And we can confirm it was from the jumping the start of the race. So iRacing does control the start and restart zones. And, that's what happened there. So unfortunately for the 87, qualifies on the pole, gets the bonus point, and kind of sets up his evening nicely, but that quickly goes away. Battle up front's heating up once again. Jason Green wants it. Dan Park still has it. And you also see, you know, in the new pavement, there is still multiple lines to run. Usually in a repave you see it pretty narrow, but it has always been a track that gives you different options. You run the white line, there's a second groove. Third groove is actually pretty good in most vehicles. A little bit more banking as you get up there. But you're not going to really see anybody way up above that new pavement. Not a lot of grip up there and a long way around these corners. You'll also notice how abruptly that repave ends off corner exit, so gotta be careful there as that grip fades away drastically in a hurry. And up front, these guys are doing a great job of keeping everything under them. Battle back here a little bit further back, and Park is trying to work his way up through the field a little bit. He's got his lap down teammate in his way right now. Let's see if they continue to play nice. We've seen some teammate on teammate fire the last couple weeks between a couple different teams. The FD50K team and the Park Brothers Racing team has had some internal run-ins the past couple weeks, but it seems like all those have been resolved internally. See the back part of the Park Brothers Racing team there with the 24 of Connor Cunningham and the 43 of Sean Corcoran. If you watched last week's race, you remember the battle between the 24 and the 43 was basically all that ended that race. And they got together there on that final lap, and Josh Fox was just sitting in the catbird seat, and he came home with the win. So these two, a week later, finding each other already on the racetrack early in this one. There's the field, just separated by a couple car lengths. No real battles to speak of right now. This is kind of the tightest bunch right here between the Byte 500 teammates. You do not see Zeke Castro tonight, but instead you see the 33 car. That's a new addition for that team this week, and will run part-time. And Andrew Harris is going to give him a little bit of trouble off 4. If you're Andrew too, you got to kind of keep in mind that you are a lap down. I mean, you're definitely still fighting for something, but you also have to realize what's around you and respect the race that all these other guys are currently running. He's doing a good job just staying as much out of the way as he can and maintaining his ground. Up front, this has tightened up a little bit. Front two have stayed pretty solid, but I'm looking at Forrest Hamilton, and we have a yellow out back. And I was just talking about these guys. Andrew Harris looks like he has found some more trouble. There he is right there, a little bit off the pace. Let's go back and take a look. This was coming off turn 4. Ooh. 33 kind of just gets into him there. Interesting if we get a little different angle. This might be a good luck. Oh, wow. That was some major net code if you caught it right there. We'll try to get one more look at this. We'll slow it down. So you'll see the 33 does move up towards the 87. There's no doubt about that. But you'll see these cars never actually touch, but the 87 spins. Watch that. Look at that right there. So for those not familiar, that is referred to as netcode here on the iRacing service, and that's predicted contact between two cars that, well, in reality, never really make contact. You can see it in the form of contact with the other vehicles, with the wall, even with damage sometimes. You know, everybody's racing off different internet, and so sometimes they don't line up in real time, and you end up in a situation like this where predicted contact, which may or may not have ever happened, but, well, now we don't know. Luckily for both those drivers, it looks like they come away unscathed. Unfortunately for Andrew, being the cause of that yellow, will not get the free pass, so he will still be a lap in arrears, and we'll probably need a new set of tires for that number 87. Let's see here. We can get a look at what this looked like from the view of the 33. Yeah. Tough to see from that angle of view. This will be a really good look at it right here. And you just see these cars never actually touch, but, well, in the interweb space they do. Unfortunate for Andrew, who got the worst of that. And he's catching the end of the field now. I'll have to check and see if he actually did receive the free pass there. I don't believe that was the case because he is the cause of caution, but we'll see here in a second if he cycles around. Oh, and he did. So I guess as that wasn't the plan, he had to get back on the lead lap. I guess at the end of the day, it does end up working out for him. Now, you see the 24 back here as well of Connor Cunningham. Interesting note, Connor was the only driver that came down pit road there for service under this caution. So we'll see what Connor has. We saw him get into the wall a little bit there, so maybe a little bit of damage he needed to fix. I mean, it was only a 5.9 second stop, so he definitely didn't take 4 tires. I wouldn't think he would take 2 this early in the game either. I'm guessing that is maybe a little bit of damage from getting the outside wall. Just go ahead and get that fixed while you can. So the field will double file back up here. Off to a pretty nice start this week compared to the last couple weeks. That's always a good sign. We'll see if these drivers can keep their vehicles under them. And hopefully the internet helps us out and we have no more netcode incidents like we just had that last time. Have corrected the issue with scoring, so that is now up for you on the left-hand side. You'll see everybody back on the lead lap, re-racked, all 17 drivers still in contention for this one. Still early, long way to go. We'll get it restarted here, coming to lap 18. We take the green flag, 73 laps to go from Iowa. Dan Park out to another good lead. Battle's kind of further behind him here as this gaggle of cars in the middle of the pack trying to find a line to run. You have Ben Park, Sean Corcoran, Michael Codwell, all in this mess right here in the middle of the pack. So far so good, they've sorted it out. Back up front, Jason Green's not letting Dan Park get away, but right before that caution came out, I was about to talk about the 3 of Forrest Hamilton. He's got something to say. One Daytona was fast last week, got caught up in an unfortunately early caution and had terminal damage to the number 3 machine, so we didn't really get to see what he had last week. But a gentleman who I believe we're going to see in contention for a lot of races here through the remainder of the season. And doing a good job there in third. I love that line he's running tight to that white line. Just looks nice and easy. You're really not seeing that car get out of shape. And as I say that, it's pointing towards the inside wall, but so was the 7 of Dan Park. And that's going to allow Jason Green to get good position on him to the outside. And I think we're going to see a new leader here on lap 21. Jason Green to the point. But we saw both the 7 and 3 kind of have that same issue off turn 2. Both got really, really loose, and those cars were pointed towards the inside wall in a hurry, but both do a great job of saving. And now Dan Park's going to try to get that lead back from his teammate and Jason Green, but Jason already pulling out to a pretty nice advantage. A little further back, we still have this mess of cars. Andrew Harris is trying to get back up through the field after getting his lap back. And he's already up to position number 10, 17th on the restart. He's trying to do all he can. Did not come down pit road for fresh tires, so he's still doing this on his original set, which he did just go for quite a slide in. So he's doing all he can to try to make that happen, working with the 21 of Michael Caldwell right now. We saw have a good run last week. A bit further up, we got a battle here. Ben Parks trying to get work up to the top of the field. Battling the 78 car. We got teammates running 5th and 6th. You got a bunch of Park Brothers racing out front. You got a couple just random teammates sprinkled throughout the remainder of this field. But you look at the top 4 being Park Brothers racing vehicles, that makes me think that this week they maybe put a little priority on practice. And it's showing. Remember from the top of the show, the top 6, all Park Brothers racing cars in the qualifying order, and Andrew Harris now passing Michael for P number 9. He's on his way back towards the front, and I don't think it'll be too long before we see him. Back up front, which can update you on what's happening with the gap here from the lead. Nothing's really changed drastically, except Josh Fox has caught up in the 4th position to kind of make this a tight top 4. Look at the lap time history here, you'll see pretty close lap times between the leader and 2nd place, so no real discrepancy at the moment, so they about keep the same gap. We'll see as this run continues to go on how this develops. Remember, we'll have that competition caution around lap 45. This might be a really good chance for us to see who's really good in the long run, because so far this season, after we have that competition caution halfway through the race, it's been a pretty green flag heavy second half of the races. So whoever's good on the long run, it might pay dividends for them as we get to the back half of this race. And you see Dan Park now really throwing it in the corner. He's been faster the past 2 laps, so he's trying to get back to the front, get some of that clean air back on the nose of the number 7. His brother Ben has worked his way now past both the Byte 500 cars, so he's up to P number 5 and the number 17. Meanwhile, back here we had a little bit of rough and tumble that we did not get a yellow for, but you see Sean Corcoran, the 5, and Connor Cunningham all getting into a little incident there, but they all kept it straight. That was a great piece by all of them. Connor, the worst for the wear. He's now trailing the field. We'll see what it looks from his point of view. It looks like the 5 kind of just washed up in the 43, and they all stacked together. Minimal damage on all the vehicles, it looks like. So all that work that Connor just did coming up through the pack, he's got to go do it once again. This time with a little bit more of a disadvantage, fortunately for Connor. And again, another incident that involves both the 24 and 43, so we'll keep an eye on those 2. But they're going to work their way back up towards the front. Meanwhile, while we're doing that, we got another battle for the lead. Same 2 drivers, just swapped positions now. Dan Park has the advantage on the high side. Jason Green's trying to make it work on the bottom. And this is allowing Forrest Hamilton Jr. in 3 to say, whoa, 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 guys, I want a piece of this action too. Dan Park, good position getting in 3. He'll take the lead back from Jason Green, at least momentarily. Forrest Hamilton's going to try to pack it in on the top two, see if he can get position on the 55. He will. This could be trouble for Jason Green if they start all training on the top. Later in the run, as these tires lose grip, that's kind of the way you want to pass if possible. He's able to slide and ride, but Josh Fox is going to give him the crossover as they get into turn 3. I don't think this is going to work out for the 11 too well. I think the 55 is going to have the momentum here to keep the position. That's how it appears right now. Closest to the front, we've seen the 3 of Forrest Hamilton Jr., our Daytona winner. Again, unfortunately, his race last week cut short by an incident. Nothing of his doing, just wrong place, wrong time. And we'll see if he can run down Mr. Dan Park, who I would say early has been the strength of the field. Oh, he's getting loose, and there he goes. Sliding, and ooh, a little bit of rear end contact with the inside wall, but he's able to keep the important pieces of the car out of the wall. No caution, as that was all down on the apron. So from first to last in a matter of seconds for Dan Park. Let's go take a look at it. We saw it live. Just that car was walking off of turn 2 and just never got. Oh, that's actually some substantial contact with the rear of that car. But he's not missing his rear bumper, so I don't think that'll hurt him insanely bad. But we'll kind of keep an eye on the 7. That car's definitely going to be loose for a minute. Let me get another look at it here. Yeah, you just see he's just trying to steer everything he can on that thing, and it's just not going to go back the right direction until the wall helps him. Look at the damage there. Like I said, I don't think it's too bad. He's got that halfway break coming up pretty soon, and he's going to need it to fix that damage. Back live, you see him still making circuits here. That car's probably going to be rather loose with that rear end damage on that right rear corner, but was able to keep it on the lead lap, which is going to be important. So that surrendered the lead to Forrest Hamilton Jr., and he's opened up quite a nice lead, almost a second on Jason Green and Josh Fox, who now battle for P number 2. And then just behind these guys, Mr. Ben Park. We saw him work his way around the middle of the field, and there was a little gap there from 4th on back a few minutes ago, but he's now closed in on those guys that were in front of him and running some of the fastest lap times on the track right now. And then also running blistering laps, to no surprise, is Andrew Harris. He's worked himself all the way back, last on the restart, to P number 5. Definitely driving the wheels off that thing. You saw the exit of 2. He's got a handful of car. He's getting himself back in good track position, which is going to be really, really important when we have that halfway caution here in just a handful of laps. Because then he's also going to have new tires, but he's going to be in a better position. Not have to pass 10 plus cars on his way back to where he wants to go. When we come around to complete lap 42, we'll have about 2 to 3 laps before we see that yellow come back across our screen for the halfway break. No specific rules on the halfway break. We don't pay points. It's just a natural break in the race. Time for us to give our sponsors some love and these drivers to take a little bit of a reset. Most of the ARCA National Series races follow the same set of rules. They are competitive pit stops, so you can gain and lose positions on pit road. It does not freeze the field. There's a little bit of wrinkle in there that we do it a little bit differently than how you might see it on TV on the weekends. Everything else is pretty similar. ARCA point system utilized here. Obviously the ARCA vehicles, and race lengths are a little bit shorter than what you see to ARCA Menard series. I'm really excited about the schedule we have coming up. We'll take a look at that a little bit later tonight. A lot of the tracks you see the National Series run on, we compete on as well. And there's some really good races ahead of us. This is always a good one too here at Iowa. E-shaped oval just under a mile in length. And there it is, our halfway caution. Forrest Hamilton Jr. is the leader here at the halfway caution. Opened up to a really nice lead late in that run. Andrew Harris, I got to keep an eye on because he was running the fastest laps at the end of that run. So if we have a green flag run in the second half, he could be a big factor. Like I said, this halfway break serves at a great time for us to give our sponsors here at Speed Racing Network some love. So here's a few of them you'll hear from, and we'll see you back in a couple minutes. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back with you here from virtual Newton, Iowa at the Iowa Speedway. Heard from some of our partners here at Speed Racing Network. Some of them that you heard from was Premier Racing Setups. They are the longest running setup shop on iRacing. They offer different options to help take your sim racing career to whichever point you want it to be. They have over 50,000 customers worldwide, and they have all the tools to help you compete. So if you want to take advantage of some of their products, you can use Speed Network 15 code to save 15% on your next order from Premier Racing Setups. You also heard from ThermoPro. They produce some of the best wireless meat thermometers on the market. You probably see them in most of your barbecue stores, same places that hold all your great seasonings like the Meat Church and Kinder stuff. You can use code ThermoProtein to save 15% on your order. Get that summer barbecue game right with ThermoPro. You also see the Premier Racing Setups logo in the top right hand of your screen all evening long. In the bottom left, you see the admin box logo. They're a software/hardware combination package that's built by iRacers for iRacers to make race control as easy as possible. Connects via USB. Everything's pre-coded. Nothing hard there. Just LED backlighting to make your buttons highly visible whenever. You can use code SRN-box, that's BOXX, to save 10% on your admin box order. And let me tell you, it's just as easy as looking at the button and pressing the button. You have to throw a caution, done. You gotta penalize the driver, done. Makes it super easy. So, admin box, we would like to thank them for their support. Alright, where we rack, Jason Green now the leader. He had a great pit stop. He came off pit road first. The leader at halfway, Forrest Hamilton Jr. in that 3. He's going to be starting second on the side row there. You see the 87, Andrew Harris. He's right back in it here. He's starting P number 5. All 17 drivers still out on the track, still on the lead lap, still in contention. We're about to fire it back up here. 40 laps to go from Iowa. Jason Green doing everything he needs to right now. Out front, off to a nice lead. The scoring pile on says he's in the pits, but we definitely can confirm with our eyes that is not the case. We have fierce battles going on here a little further back. Andrew Harris in a tight situation with teammate Ben Park just a few minutes ago. They've got that sorted out for 4th and 5th. A little further back, this is where the next just group of cars is. Michael Codwell in the 21, Robert Richardson in the 5, Joe Ruggles in the 96, Connor Cunningham in the 24, David Davis in the 4. All these guys just basically taking up every square inch of the racetrack as they try to figure out who's going to go where. They're doing a great job keeping themselves out of trouble thus far. Really tight off the corner. Get the 4 car stuck in the middle. He's going to bounce off the 21. The 21's going to slide down low. And luckily, does a fantastic piece of driving. Does not come back into the pack. And saves the number 21 from even hitting that inside wall that's down there on pit exit. He's getting some ground to make up, but can continue, which is best case scenario out of that situation. We saw Dan Park have those issues from the lead a little bit earlier. He's having to come through from the back. He's currently up to position number 12, just trying to pick him off as he can. I have to think that he's going to need at least one caution in the back half of this race once he gets a little bit more track position to really make it a viable option at possibly winning. Oh! Got big loose off of turn 4, and instead of taking the 43 with him, he just kind of corrected it into the fence, but it doesn't look like there's any hard damage. Oh, and then the 22 pinches him off the corner. 22's around. We're going to have a caution. So just an interesting last 2 laps for Dan Park in the 7. And that'll be a little bit more damage that time. All right, let's see it here. This is going back 2 laps here with the 7 car. He's just working his way through the field like we were saying. We're in a battle here with the 43 first. Going to correct and get into the outside wall. You see it on corner exit right here. Doesn't want to hit him, so he gets in the wall a little bit, slows him up. Here comes the 22 of Matthew Cornell. Now underneath the 7, not quite clear on corner exit, I believe, is what happens here, and just a lazy spin with a little bit of wall contact for the 22. Nothing too heavy on that vehicle. He'll be able to continue, but definitely is going to put a damper in his evening. Another view of this off the corner. It's kind of tough at this angle to see, but you see this. The 22 comes up, and I mean, theoretically you could say the 7 could be closer to the wall, but be a good look at it here. Just run out of racing room. Luckily for both drivers, I mean, there is some damage there, but both will be able to continue, it looks like. 7's on pit road getting some repairs, so is the 22. Everybody else stayed on the racetrack. Everybody did just pit a handful of laps ago, about 9 laps ago, so no reason to come down and give up any track position by taking service. Looks like both of those drivers will make it off of pit lane before the pace car comes back around. So again, on lap 59, we still have all 17 drivers in the race on the lead lap, which is incredible racing. Great job by all these drivers. We have a mixed new field here with our summer series. We like to do fun stuff with our short little summer segments that we can to bring in some new drivers, do something we don't normally do. We've never used the ARCA car in a series here at Speed Racing Network before, so threw that out there. A little bit different format. We did a season-long entry fee this time instead of a pay-by-race entry fee, and it's brought in a few new drivers. And you look at that scoring pylon on the left-hand side, it's about a 50-50 mix of SRN veterans and new faces. And as we've continued to go throughout the weeks, this field's beginning to gel a little bit and learn each other's racecraft. And tonight's been an example of, I think, some really good racing action. 2 minor incidents thus far. The netcode incident we won't really count, so just 1 true racing incident. These guys doing an incredible job, and anytime at Iowa, 2/3 through the race, you can have the entire field still on the lead lap and still in contention is incredible. So kudos to these drivers for doing what they're doing tonight and giving us a good show to watch. And we hope you're enjoying it. If you are, don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to Speed Racing Network. Don't miss a second of the action. We have fall plans pretty much on the burner getting going, so we'll be announcing those soon. We'll be debuting a lot of that on broadcasts as we get closer to fall season, including registration dates. So we'll feel a lot of that here. If you'd like to join Speed Racing Network, you can go to speedracingnetwork.com on our general Discord server. Come look at it and be a part of this awesome racing action. Green flag's back out, 30 laps to go from Iowa. Jason Green doing Jason Green things out front, but we got an absolute mess in the middle of the pack. You saw Forrest Hamilton and Ben Park touch a little bit. You saw Josh Fox get into the ball a little bit. Actually, that wasn't Forrest Hamilton that touched that with Ben Park. It was a separate incident. We were just recorded at the exact same time. These guys slowly getting it sorted out back here, but you have a lot of guys in this mid-pack that are hungry. Know they should be out front, so they're going to just push that much harder to get out front. And last lap by, new fastest lap of the race was set by the driver of that number 87, Andrew Harris, and he is knocking back on the door of the lead, which he surrendered oh so quick at the beginning of this race with that penalty on the start. Qualified on the pole, didn't get the lead a lap either. Had to come straight down pit lane after the penalty for jumping the start. And it's taken him a little over 2/3 of the race to work his way back up here to the front. And he is hounding Jason Green for the lead. 23.166 was that fast lap. That is a 10th faster than anybody else's fastest lap of the race. Andrew Harris is doing what he needs to make it happen. And we'll see how he races his teammate here who currently occupies the lead. We did also talk about for the halfway break that the 87 was the fastest car on the racetrack, so it's reasonable to think that he can be a little patient here, not press the issue with Jason Green, and know that as this race winds to an end, he's going to be able to run those fastest times at the end, and that's when it matters. So we'll keep an eye on this gap, currently sitting at just under half a second. See how that grows. Let's go a little further back here. We got Ben Park still trying to crack the top 5 here once again, battling with the 78. Connor Cunningham now is making his way back up through the field. We saw him have a little bumper tag earlier in the race, and again, 24 and 43 just, I guess, are destined to find each other on the racetrack at all points in the race, because here they are once again, 7th and 8th. Just behind them, Robert Richardson, Josh Fox doing battle. That's going to reel in Sean Corcoran there, and then just behind these guys, there's Mr. Dan Park, who's got to work himself back up through the field after that last incident. Joe Ruggles Jr. That red 96. You've seen it in all kinds of different vehicles here in Speed Racing Network history. This time with the ARCA car. Doing a great job. That car nice and clean. No incident points yet tonight in P number 12. Back up front, we said we'd take a look at the gap for the lead. It's closed about a 10th since we last checked on it. Andrew Harris, you see him just running different lines there. Trying to see where maybe he could size up the 55. Oh, he's loose, but saves it off the corner. We've seen a lot of contact with that wall off of turn 2. Ben Park got it pretty good that last time by, you saw in the background. And another 10th-ish off the lead that last time by. So Andrew Harris is getting there. But we know that getting to somebody and passing him, that's two completely different ball games. And we always want to remind you, those are teammates. So, you know, what risk are you willing to take to make that pass, I guess, is the better question. So we'll take this time while we got the field really racing hard, spread out throughout the field, to take a look at a field rundown here. Jason Green leads in the 55. Milwaukee Chevy. Got Andrew Harris just behind him in the 87 Bolify and Steel Graphics and Designs paint scheme. And as we were winding up right through the field, we have a yellow in the back of the field. This is going to be Robert Richardson, Sean Corcoran, and Josh Fox. Take a look at it here. Ooh, 43 is already sideways, and that was netcode contact with the 11. Josh Fox, but we now need to figure what happened with 43. We're going to get help. 5 of Robert Richardson helps the 43 around, and the 11 of Josh Fox, unfortunately for him. Nowhere to go. Get here, another look at it. Yeah, just gets into him in the middle of the corner, spins him right around, and the 43 and the 11 might have made contact without that net code, but it's tough to say. Here's another look at it right here. Good look at it. That was for sure contact there. Dan Park does an incredible job missing that. See if we can take a look here. They'll let us go back to Dan Park Rather's on board. It's not going to let us pull it up, but you do see that everybody's on pit lane, right? So with a little bit of a run on those tires, and you still have an extra set after this, I think no shocker here that most of the field's going to take advantage of this. We do have a couple drivers that did stay out, so we'll cover that here in just a moment. They're resetting it. The 78's up front right now. We're looking to see if he did in fact come down the pit road. He did, but a 9.5 second stop. So I believe the 78 car is on a 2-tire stop here, so he was able to jump in front of our leaders. 33 also stayed on track for a second there. But he did come back and get service this last time by, so he will surrender the lead. We haven't seen 2 tires all night, so this is going to be something new we haven't seen yet as far as strategy goes. We'll see how the fire-off speed is. I mean, when we do go back green here, there'll only be about 15 or so laps to go. So, not hating the idea here, it's just unproven. We don't have any notes on how it's going to work out. So, we're going to rely on the driver, the number 78, to show us how that works. So, you know, we talked a little bit about Andrew Harris in the 87. He had that ability to stretch it out and run good laps on a long green flag run, and now he stares down a short run to end this race. So he's going to have to turn the wick up a little bit in that 87. Forrest Hamilton Jr. and Ben Park round out your top 5. They're not done with this race yet. They still have a say in it. But those cars look pretty clean. Honestly, the most of the field, a few bumps and scratches here and there, but look pretty good. Dan Park in the 7. I mean, he's been first the last a couple times tonight, I feel like, and he's back up to P6, and we know he has pace. Qualifying on the front row and leading most of the first part of this race after that Andrew Harris penalty. So here we go. We're going to take the green with 15 laps to go here at Iowa. New leader, Matthias in 78. Jason Green, who was leading at that caution, will start P2. Again, that 78 car is on 2 tires, we believe. We'll see how this fires off. Green flag will be back out. 15 laps to go from Iowa. Got a wreck in the back. I don't know if this is going to bring out the caution or not, but we got cars all over the place. You kind of saw it there at stack up. A little bit of restart games there, I think. I don't know if there'll be penalties on that, but let's take a look. Just look at the bottom line. Just stack, 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 stack. And the 21, oh, what? Spawns into the 4's car for a second. I think those cars might be stuck together. And the 5 gets some significant damage there as well. It looked, the 21, unfortunately, he got ejected out of the line. You'll see it again here. There's going to be a weak link. That car's going to get just pushed out of the line, and that's what happens there. And then you see those cars get kind of stuck, or I don't know. For a second, maybe they were, and that's the 5's front bumper rolling down the racetrack. Connor just stops in the back. That's a good idea. Doesn't get himself up in all that mess. Let me get another look at it here. This is a good look at it. See the leader on the bottom just stacks it up, and unfortunately at the back of the field is where that stack up's going to be the worst. And fortunately for all those guys in the back, I mean, you can't see really through the car in front of you very well, so there's really nothing else you can do. You saw Connor back there just stop, and 3's got a black flag for something here, but not sure what was going on with that. Maybe we can take one more look at it here. We also have to think about the 2 tires. I mean, it's a realistic expectation that there could be wheel spin involved, and that's why the 78 didn't go, but it looked like he fired off pretty good after that little bump. Well, it's just a mess behind them at that point. Another look at it here. It's just going to find that wink in the line, and bam. Well, Connor does get a little bit of door damage there from the 5, and then the 5's front bumper just randomly falls off. So he actually didn't hit anything very hard at all, but lost the front bumper of that machine. Interesting. So he was on pit road getting repairs. A couple guys in the back pitting the 22. Matthew Cornell's coming down. Sean Corcoran, who, well, that rear bumper's seen some things. He was in the middle of that sandwich. We'll come down and get repairs. 5 is the only vehicle that remains on pit road, and we saw the front bumper go away. I just didn't see really hard contact there, but it's going to be extended stay for him. So we're finally, with 12 to go, going to have our first car a lap down outside of what Andrew Harris went through earlier with that penalty. So, not what we really wanted to see in this race that was just cruising along incredibly well. And some great racing. And has come to a stalemate here. They're going to get it doubled up here, and we'll toss the green back out with 10 laps to go. We were taking you through the field. We'll do that again here on this last green flag run if we get the chance. If not, we'll jump that on next week. On this restart, we're going to leave you with the sights and sounds. Speed Racing Network competition in the Steel Graphics and Design Summer Series. Again, thank you for joining us this evening. Don't forget to like the stream, share it with your racing enthusiast friends. Subscribe so you don't miss any of the amazing action we have coming up. We'll look at that future schedule here at the conclusion of this one. We still have some things to settle, including the winner and the payouts here tonight. This car will dive away. We'll go back to green. 10 laps to go from Iowa Speedway. Fierce battle up front, a little bit of contact between the 78-55 that last time by. 8 laps to go. Andrew Harris is sideways. He's going to get finished off by the 3 and the 7. And the caution is back out, and Andrew, just like teammate Dan Park, has gone to the field at least twice tonight. And, well, he'll have to do it again. We'll go back and take a look. I mean, you saw it live. 87 got loose up top, and teammates met him. Combined teammates met him, and that doesn't make contact with the inside wall, so I think he's going to be all right, but he's got to pass a lot of cars in not a lot of time to get back up there. Unfortunately for Andrew Harris, another workload he's going to have to take on after falling to the back once again. We'll get one more look at it here, and we'll see. Sluice never was able to gather it back up, and this late in the race, you guys are going to be pretty committed to the gas. Josh Fox does an excellent job in the 11, missing that. So, Andrew we'll have to do it once again. We worried about the 7/8's ability to fire off on those two tires, but I was quite impressed with those last couple laps. He did a good job hanging on to the lead. Again, we hadn't seen anybody do the two-tire move all evening, so we were unsure at how successful it was going to be, but it turns out that it looked pretty good. Jason Green had a couple of good looks at making the pass, but he just wasn't able to do so. You're the driver of the 78 now. You're happy about how this has turned out. You know, I do worry if that was going to go green that maybe there would be a quick fade to the back, but he was cruising there. But he'll have another restart that he has to navigate his way through, and he's done a good job so far. But every time you do that, you add another heat cycle to those tires, and left side tires have seen a few restarts now, so you wonder about that. And I just think there's so much pace in that 55 machine and the 7 that it's far from over here. And then we did see too the 3 of Forrest Hamilton Jr. lead a few laps, and so we know he's got pace. And Ben Park, we've talked about him just running backside the top 5 all evening. He's still got a clean number 17, so something. I just want to shout out Joel Ruggles. Last time we talked about Joel Ruggles, he was running 12. I think we remember that part, right? That red 96 that's so iconic. He's running 6th right now. So great run for Joe here tonight, and I want to see him get up there. Maybe in the top 3. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to him today, which would be amazing. We will talk to our top 3 finishers this evening at the conclusion. We'll pay them out as well for their race winnings. We will also talk a little bit about the upcoming schedule. And what's coming up from SRN in the fall. We kind of hinted a little bit of action there. So this will not be a green-white checker. It'll be a green-green-white checker. In the event that we do need those overtime finishes, we will have up to 3 attempts. We hope to get this resolved maybe without any, but we will find out shortly. So Tejas in the 78 has the lead still. He will lead the field back to the green flag with only 3 laps remaining here from Iowa. Good positioning for the 55 here on corner exit. If he can hold the top, and he does, it's going to make it difficult on the 78 to have an angle into 3. This corner is going to mean everything. Good run off the top from the 55 could solidify it. 2 laps to go here from Iowa. Jason Green looks like he's going to be pretty much in control, and we are not done yet. Oh, Joe Ruggles. We just talked about the amazing run he was having in the 96, and we wanted to talk to him. He finds himself backwards. Andrew Harris, Michael Caldwell, Connor Cunningham involved in this. Oh, let's get a look. Oh, Andrew gets in the middle of the 3 of them, and that takes out that group. And unfortunately for Joe, that was worst case scenario. And I think that's just a product too. The 87, he's just trying to get his way back through the field. No fault in. I'd be frustrated too, having to pass the whole field twice pretty much, and I mean, I don't blame him for kind of making that move. You do have 2 laps left to go, but you also have to realize that is for like 10th place. So it may have been a little bit of net code there too. You don't see like really initial contact. Yeah, that might have been actually a combination of net code and just bad arrow positioning and all that good stuff. I think Connor actually made it through pretty easily there. Actually, you might have a little beef. Oh! Okay. So Joe Ruggles had to pay the visit to the 21. We might have to talk to somebody after the race to see what that's all about. Obviously, we didn't see it in this instance, but obviously they're close to each other, so there might be something going on there. We'll show you this once again. Let's some beef action. That's some solid contact. I saw the contact show up between the two, but I don't know about that. And Joe Ruggles has been disqualified from the event. The race control just made that notion. Which, hey, I mean, it's in the rule book. Can't be doing that. So this race has had, I think, a little bit of everything now. We've had some disagreements over space. We've had some net code. We've had some beef. We've had some great racing. We've had some strategy. And, well, now we have 3 attempts to finish it with some green-white checkers. And I'm hoping we can solve this in one and go ahead and get to some interviews. Jason Green was able to wrestle away the lead on that last restart. 78-3-7-17 conclude your top 5. And then we have the 11-32, 87, 21, 24. That's your top 10. The 5 and 43 remain on pit road at this very moment. Sean Corcoran just getting some damage fixed, I do believe. He was still on the lead lap at the time. Joe Ruggles, like I said, has been disqualified from the event for that bumper tag after the yellow. And then the 5 car, well, we saw his front bumper missing a little bit ago, so he still remains in the pit lane, waiting on some repairs. 33 is also a lap down as well. There was a black flag in there, so not sure what that was for. So he still finds himself 1 lap in rears, but is still making circles out there, and that's always a good thing. Well, like I said, it's green-white checker time. So this is where things get wound up and interesting. Jason Green is now in control of the restart, however, so we might see a slightly different strategy on takeoff. And if you're still making circles out there, it's still a race that you have a shot at. Pace car pulls away. First attempt at a green-white checker. Here we go. Jason Green in control. Oh, big jump by the bottom line and the top line's wrecking. We're going to have at least 2 attempts. That didn't take long. The bottom line was a perfectly orchestrated restart, and then top line just left the chat, for lack of better words. And, let's see here. We look at the top line on this restart, and it just, same thing we saw before, accordion, and there's a weak link that gets spit out, and there's the 87 of Andrew Harris. And look at it here. Andrew gets shot out of the line and clips Troy, and that's going to get the 24, 4, and 33 all involved, and just a mess. The 21 was involved in this somehow, too, on the bottom line. I think he might have gotten in the back of oh, no, we got a little bump from 9 of Farland. He'll be alright. It's not too bad. Connor Cunningham, significant damage here. He's going to get turned up into... Oh, yeah, that's got to be some suspension. That left front jumped. Didn't talk about Troy all night, but he was having just a solid run. And, nothing of his doing there. Oh, yeah, there's definitely some suspension damage going on there with the 24 because that Does not look like it's steering particularly well. Oh, and that went to a toe. He remains on the pit lane at this time. We bragged on these guys. You're having a good race, and the whole field's still running on the lead lap, and we've started to turn this race into survival in the last 10 or so minutes. And lost in that shuffle is the 78 car. Remember, he was the one that was outside on that restart. And see if we get a chance to watch this here. Or get a chance to we don't have a chance to review that restart from his point of view. Grab it from somewhere else. Yeah, the 78, he gets shuffled back all the way to at least 4th right there on that restart. Lost a few more spots somehow. I might have an answer. Oh, he got shuffled back. It's showing now 12th. I don't have an answer for that one, actually. As much as I usually try to have the answers for everything, for all you lovely viewers, I don't have that one. So, alright, green-white checker attempt number 2. Here we go. Jason Green in control. Niall Forrest Hamilton finds himself on the front row. And here's Ben Park. Brothers Park, the 2nd row. Josh Fox, last week's winner. Remember, he just took advantage of the chaos and came home with that victory. So he's up to 5th. He's trying to do the same here. Michael Codwell in 6th. We've seen him in a couple different incidents and in some beef earlier, it looked like. And he's up to P6. And then David Davis. We saw him in an incident as well a few seconds ago. P7. That thing's still rolling the right direction. Top 12 still all in the lead lap, and I believe the top 12, based on what we've seen here tonight, all of them probably still have a chance of winning this thing, because I don't think we're done with the chaos quite yet. Jason Green did a great job of being in control of that last restart. We'll see if he's able to do the same here. Do also remember, top 4 are all teammates, so they are communicating with each other, and they may try to set up a pretty orderly start here. We can get this thing wrapped up on the 2nd green-white checker attempt. And here we go. Jason Green, just like the last restart, big jump. He's clear, sailing away. Battle's going to be behind him. Oh, they're not wrecking. We're good for right now. Thought they were for a second. Back to the field, Troy Tickmeyer got in a little bit of a tangle, but white flag, 1 more to go. Jason Green in control. Forrest Hamilton Jr. is going to try to run him down. Big send into 1 and 2 by Forrest. If he's going to make it stick, he might have a shot, but that car's drifting up the track. Ooh, Josh Fox is in the wall. The 17's loose all over the place. Coming out of turn 4, Jason Green, Park Brothers Racing number 55, is going to get his win on the season. Forrest Hamilton Jr., Ben Park, Dan Park, Josh Fox round out your top 5. And a total of 13 drivers have currently taken the checkered flag. Troy Tickmeyer will come around and make it 14 drivers that'll take the checkered flag. And a little team celebration here, Park Brothers Racing. They were good from the jump, occupied the top 6 starting positions, and when push came to shove on that 2nd green-white checker attempt, well, they occupied the top 4. So it's no mistake. They put in that work, and there you see all of them on the front stretch. That's the Park Brothers Racing squad. They're going to burn it down together. And, oh, there's Troy. He's coming through to finish it. And Jason Green is your winner here tonight. boy. Got the Park Brothers Racing squad just making it happen over here. The smoke that we're seeing from that 55, I don't think the thing's going to last much longer. But they do a lot of good work together as a team, and anytime they win, it's also a team win for them. So happy to see them do just that. Well, we're going to get to talk to some of these guys. We'll try to get the winner first up here in Jason Green. What he has to say about tonight's action. Joining us now in the booth, winner tonight of the 55 Park Brothers Racing Chevy, Jason Green. Congratulations on your win tonight. This race had almost everything. You kind of had to be prepared for everything. Talk to us about your evening.
Yeah, you had to be prepared for everything. I was thinking going in here that it was going to go green for at least a decent stint, and I'm happy it did because it is so fun having to try and save tire. Like still, like there's so many lines you can like run here to go quick, right? So it's really cool to finally have to like figure that out for a little bit. And then, yeah, the caution halfway was super helpful because my tires were spent. I think I dropped down to like third. But yeah, after the halfway break, it kind of got really chaotic there at the end. But yeah, just kind of have to really get good on your restarts, try and make as much, make as many places as you can. And I think it wasn't before the green white checkers. I had to get by the 78 who I think he was on 2 tires or something like that. And I was lucky enough to get by him right before that caution came out, and then just kind of have to hold on from there. But yeah, it's great to put in victory lane for the first time in a little while, so it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, every time the 55 wins, that's a good thing around here, right? We saw your team celebration on the front stretch. Talk to us a little bit about the dominance that we saw from the Park Brothers Racing team this week. Obviously, there are a lot of drivers in this series that are on your team, but like when we see qualifying results, it's the top 6 is your team, and then we come to that last green-white checker in the top 4 Park Brothers Racing vehicles. Talk to us a little bit about what the team means, how you guys work together, and ultimately how you guys find yourselves in favorable positions time after time.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I think I've said this before, but we're all really clean when it comes to racing, like super respectful, but we're all really fast. So I think it just pushes everybody to make sure they're on top of their stuff. And then, I mean, even during the regular SRN season, like I think that's what you just said, like top 6. I mean, it's not like 1 through 6, but like we're always going to be like top 10 competing for something like that. So, yeah, really cool group of guys. Obviously, gain some speed, and at the end there, yeah, it's funny. I mean, we're all in the chat, right, and we're talking like what we're gonna do to try and like keep the 1 through 6 or 1 through 5, and yeah, it's fun. It's a good time for sure.
We've seen some teammate on teammate action with a couple different teams the last couple weeks, so we're glad that played out kind of nicely there at the end for you guys, so you didn't have to deal with that again. We have Michigan coming up next week. Another track that I know you're a fan of the bigger tracks here on the service. So what are you looking forward to at Michigan?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never raced it in this car, so we'll see how that goes. But as long as it's somewhat gripped up enough, I don't know, because I mean, even here at Iowa, like it was a lot looser coming off of 2 and off of 4 than I was expecting. So depending on how Michigan sets up, it could be one of those. I think in the truck, you just like hold it wide open almost the entire stint. Versus, I think hopefully in this one you may have to like take off a little bit in 1 and 2 or something like that. Where then you can really get some good racing. But it's funny, we did find out even here, like aero is a big deal. Like we were able to like not like aero block, but I mean you could definitely side draft and pull somebody back. So I would expect maybe some of that next week for sure.
Oh, it'll be exciting, I'm sure. So before we let you go, anybody you have to thank for your efforts here tonight?
Yeah, just want to give a quick shout out to the folks still tuning in every week. You guys put on a great broadcast. Gotta say hi to them. Yeah, I got Milwaukee Tool on the car for this little short season. The employer's nice enough to let me put their logos on the car. They're not getting anything out of it, but it's pretty cool to at least run a different little paint scheme. But yeah, no, it's a good time.
It's a good looking ride. So, all right, man. Well, congratulations on your win. We'll see you next week at Michigan.
Cool, man. Thank you. Have a good night.
Driver the number 55, Jason Green, our winner here tonight. Always a competitor out here in the Speed Racing Network series of things, and kind of doesn't matter what it is. He's going to be competitive. So always good to talk to Mr. Jason Green. Now it's time to talk to another driver in which we've talked to at least once already this year. Joining us in the booth now, driving the number 3 Forrest Hamilton Jr. Hey, we've talked already this season, but here we are again, second place tonight. Talk to us a little bit about your evening. It was a little chaotic.
Yeah, that race got wild on those final restarts. Everybody just got too antsy.
Yeah, it's a track that it's easy to overstep that boundary too when things start to get antsy, and we saw it out there. We talked to Jason about this in his interview, but we kind of want to talk and get your take, and we'll get Ben's take as well. You know, we looked at qualifying, and the Park Brothers Racing Team occupies positions 1 through 6. Then we look up with that last green flight checker, and the Park Brothers Racing Team occupies positions 1 through 4. Talk to us a little bit about the team and just the communication, maybe how you guys worked together tonight and kind of took control of this race for a vast majority of it.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk too much because we were trying to focus on because this track is super loose, but we all gave each other ideas throughout practice there earlier. We all tried different lines. Like, I know I was probably the most different one running a different line all the way around the bottom, while they ran the middle. But it was just mostly keeping the throttle clean and not overstepping the car.
Well, it was enjoyable to watch from up here for a vast majority of that. We got Michigan coming up next week. What do you like about Michigan? What are you looking forward to then?
I'm not too sure. Last time I raced Michigan in these ARCA cars, it was wild because it's a fast track, big runs, and I don't know. There might be some wild blocks thrown. I hope not.
Well, with this group, I guess you never know. We're going to hope on the not side of things like that. Before we let you go tonight, anybody you have to thank for your weekly efforts?
I'd just like to thank my teammates and the effort we put in there. I mean, we all do a good job just staying focused on what we need to do.
All right, man. Well, enjoy your evening. Congrats on your second place finish.
Thank you, you too.
All right, that was number 3, Forrest Hamilton Jr., also winner of the first race this season at Daytona. Well, we got one more interview that's guaranteed, and I'm sure we'll get some good insight on this race from him because, well, he saw a lot of it from the middle of the pack most of the day. Joining us now in the broadcast booth, driver of the number 17, Mr. Ben Park. It was a wild one from start to finish. We saw multiple of your teammates have to go through the field at least twice. We had a long green flag run in there. We had a bunch of cautions. We ended up with 2 green-white checkers. Talk to us a bit about what you saw out of your windshield tonight.
It was kind of crazy. I seen my brother spin out from the lead. What I thought was the 78 turned out to be the 87 spinning towards the end of the race. It's crazy. Teammates, it's a great race for the Park Brothers Racing Team though.
Yeah, we were just talking to Forrest, and we were talking to Jason about that exact thing. Qualifying, you guys had the top 6 spots locked out. I look up before we start that last green white checker. You guys are the top 4. From your perspective, talk to us a little bit about kind of how you guys work together. What makes you guys be able to take control of a race like that?
I think it's just we have great drivers, really. Consistent speed. Andrew, Jason, always fast. Connor, always fast. I just got on the racetrack. The first time I've seen the new Iowa was for practice today.
It's got grip till it doesn't. I think that was the part that was the most obvious tonight, especially on corner exits, and it kind of what caused most of the chaos, at least for that part. A track you're familiar with is where we're headed next. We're going to Michigan. Talk to us a little bit about what you expect out of that race and if you're looking forward to that one.
I expect it's going to be a super speedway kind of race. A lot of drafting. These cars have the draft is really, really strong in these cars. Side draft. So could be close contact.
Well,
high speed.
Close contact is a common theme of the series so far this year, but we will be cranking up the speed quite a bit for sure. Before we let you go this evening, who do you like to thank for your weekly efforts?
Thank the team. Thank you. Hope your car's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you fire that pick. Remember that didn't
Yeah.
Fasten all those lug nuts.
Yeah, we are gonna have a suspended rear tire changer and eject the car chief for the next 2 events after today's sequence for me. But hey, it is what it is. But congrats on your 3rd place finish, and congrats on the Park Brothers Racing team, which I know you're a big proponent of week-to-week operations there. Just doing a great job in all the series you guys run at being competitive and make it happen. So. It's always good it's even better when our whole post-race interview docket is all the same team, and it just happens to be yours again this week. So
yeah, you just saved the best for last, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather be talking to you first because that means you have a little bit more cash coming your way, right? Maybe next week.
Yeah,
Maybe next week.
know.
All right, we'll see you next week at Michigan.
I'm happy for the team.
That's right. See you then.
Yep.
Driver the number 17, 3rd place finisher, Ben Park. And the namesake of Park Brothers Racing, along with his brother, Mr. Dan Park. Well, let's get you the full results. Let's see what this evening ended up actually looking like. This will be popping up momentarily on the screen as the goal. If not, we'll read it out to you. We love technology. Time. Maybe not. Let's run through for you. I might be able to pop it up on the tower. Let's look at it there. Yep, there we go. Jason Green was your winner. Forrest Hamilton Jr. second. Ben Park third. We talked to those 3 gentlemen just a second ago. Dan Park comes home 4th. Josh Fox in 5th. Andrew Harris 6th. David Davis 7th. Mateus Galini in 8th. Michael Codwell 9th. Matthew Cornell in 10th. Bentley McFarland in 11th. Troy Techmeyer 12th. Baltazar Guzman, maybe? Is that how you say that? In 13th. And then the remaining of these drivers did not finish the contest. That was Connor Cunningham in 14th, Sean Corcoran 15th, Robert Richardson in 16th, and Joe Ruggles Jr. in 17th. So that's how this one ended up. I said we'd talk about the schedule real quick before I jump off here. So this is what it looks like. So first 4 races, that's what we've just finished up. We head to Michigan next week, and then we have a little short track run going on. We get North Wilkesboro, Kern County, Milwaukee Mile, and we finish at Charlotte, which produces some of the best racing in these ARCA Series vehicles, so I'm looking forward to that. Times are there on the bottom. Broadcast starts typically around 7:50 p.m. Central Time on each of those weeks. If you want to run any of these races, you sure can. You don't have to be a full-time member to do so. There's a $5 sub fee per week. If you want to just run 1, 2, maybe 3 of these events, come join us. You're still eligible for the weekly winnings that pay out 1 in 5. So far this season, that's been averaging the top 3 positions. So still a chance to come in and make a little bit of money off your $5 because that just goes straight towards the prize fund for these guys. If you'd like to run the remainder of the season, we have a prorated entry of $15 to do that if you'd like. So come join us for any of these events if you so choose. Rolling across the bottom of your screen is just all the information you might need. Remember, visit speedracingnetwork.com for details on joining us, being a part of this series, and what we have in the fall. Speaking about the fall, just one thing to point out that we have going on right now because it's just closed. So far, the winning vote for the vehicle of choice for our fall series is the NASCAR Xfinity Series car, or otherly known as the B car here on iRacing. So that is the tentative plan of vehicle of choice for the fall season. So we're going to start working on schedule. So if you'd like to stay abreast of what we have coming up in the fall, what is planned, go to speedracingnetwork.com. Click the link on the top of the homepage to visit our Discord server. Join that. You'll get notifications as news comes out about our fall season and when registration opens for that. So on behalf of myself, Jonathan Byer, the president of Speed Racing Network, thank you for joining us this evening here from virtual Newton, Iowa. We'll see you next week at Michigan.